Three, two, one. Welcome to the SaaS Pulse Show. My name is Michael Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of SaaS Talent. And I'm always super excited, right? But when we have an amazing woman founder on, I am more excited, right? Woman founder, she grew up in Malvern. She's Philly. She's a Philly lady, right? I was gonna say girl, Philly lady, right? And she has an amazing tech startup background. If you're listening to this right now and you're like an entrepreneur or tech startup, reach out to her. She could definitely help you. This is Georgia Austin. She is the CEO and founder of WordBrew, which is an amazing content marketing platform that helps you build unique marketing content. She's also an angel investor, it looks like, or an investor. So, wow, that's awesome. And so it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I've been really looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, what I love to get into right away is I love the superhero backstory, right? So, the superhero backstory, everybody has it. You could probably do a whole podcast on your superhero backstory, right? You know, seeing all the things you're doing. But can you share your background and journey
Yeah,
that led you to WordBrew?
yeah, would love to. And long story short, it's been a wild 4 years, but happy to go back to the very beginning. So I've always been a writer and marketer pretty much my entire professional career. And I previously wrote content for a bunch of e-commerce brands. So Nike, Under Armour, Tommy Hilfiger. Before I decided to quit my job in the UK, I was working as a full-time copywriter in London, and I decided to move to Brazil unknowingly during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So start of 2020, February 2020, I guess. And then 1 month later, the pandemic was announced. I was trapped there, I guess.
Right.
But this was really the first stepping stone to what was going to become an incredible, life-changing journey. So about a month after my time, spending time in Brazil, I created a Fiverr account,
Nice.
which I ended up growing to become the top writing account on the platform. And then about 2 years after that, I decided to build my own venture, WordBrew, which is my bread and butter today. And we basically support clients in all kinds of content that they might need support with. And we support clients from all industries, all stages, supporting them with their written content needs.
Mhm.
So in 2023, we pivoted from a human-focused content creation model to a hybrid model, as you can imagine, which was triggered by the launch of ChatGPT and all of these AI tools, which
Right.
I was definitely in denial for a good few months that was coming for me, if you will. But I
Right.
definitely took that adversity and decided to make something good of it. So we ended up pivoting our model from being 100% human content to hybrid content.
Yeah.
And we delivered this content through our network of over 300 subject matter experts. So that's the past. And where we are now, we are at the moment shifting from a service focused model to a software first model. So currently building out a platform that essentially turns expert insights and turns that into first drafts. So, whether it's internal content, shareholder letters, briefs, proposals, all the way to externally facing marketing communications. So a lot going on here, all hands on deck, very exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing. So the last podcast that I just did, the woman had a cutting edge digital companion, right? So what I'm hearing here, obviously everybody you're going to have all these companions to help you with things, right? The cool thing about what Georgia's doing is obviously it's not all AI. It's 300 plus amazing people that are getting assistance with AI, right? Which is probably what we need, right? You got to build great content, right? We're always building great content all day long. So let's dive in. Let's get a little bit nerdy, Georgia. let me understand the product, right? So let's hear
Yeah.
the elevator pitch, right? So what's the elevator pitch of WordBrew? What's the value proposition?
Yeah, 100%. So the elevator pitch for WordBrew, the stupid, simple elevator pitch is turn insights into great content. That's our stupid,
Oh,
simple version.
I
The
love it.
slightly longer version is that WordBrew takes expert insights and synthesizes those insights into any kind of content.
Love it.
So basically how this works is we're actually building the actual platform for this, but currently doing this under more of a manual process. But we're building out what we're calling an insights flow, which
Mm,
will take you from template to brief to choosing the experts you want to collaborate in your project, whether internally within your organization or one of WordBrew's experts within our own network
mhm.
to provide insights, provide those unique points of view, that domain expertise to actually inform the content that is created. So
Nice.
what we're seeing right now in the market is not necessarily in the market, but the way that companies are currently creating content, the insights are coming retroactively most of the time. So we're seeing that when the insights come before, that provides that critical context for the language model to actually give you a unique, highly differentiated draft, which is
Mm.
obviously one of the big problems we're seeing right now is everyone's defaulting to ChatGPT or one of the same language models. And now they all have the same insights and opinions as all of their competitors, which is not good.
Yeah, no, I think I get it at a high level. I mean, what I have started to do a little bit in ChatGPT, and you could probably is I'm taking my expert insight and I'm
Mhm.
shoving it in some big huge blob, right? And it's basically I'm saying, help me organize this, right? So like I wrote a book that way. Like I actually took my own thoughts and expert, then I helped me organize this, right? And it was great. But yeah, this sounds amazing. I mean, I totally get it. Expert insights have to be built, content. So tell me who your ICP is, right? So I'm curious, right? There's obviously a lot of marketing platforms out there, right? So
Yeah.
you when you're a startup, you have to focus, right? It's so important to focus in an ideal customer profile. So
Mhm.
who do you feel or who do you think is your ICP or, maybe it's two, right? But what do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something I've battled with in the past because I'm somebody that I'm like, why can we not be something for everybody? And of
Yeah.
course, that's a big problem, especially in SaaS. Um, we ultimately do want to make WordBrew a platform that serves a huge variety of business use cases, specifically in the realm of content creation.
Mhm.
However, our target or kind of entry market will be SMBs, 5 to 100 employees, typically in those industries like finance, healthcare, government kind of focused work, where there's a lot of stakeholders involved. There's a lot of incredible subject matter expertise, which is trapped within the organization. There's no easy and efficient way to extract those insights in a streamlined workflow and take those insights and turn them into content. So typically these organizations have a lot of stakeholders involved in the process. The way they create content right now is very lengthy, it's very inefficient, and that's something we're looking to change. So we're really looking at targeting those kinds of people, organizations.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. So I mean, I've been working with when these companies were called ISVs. At one time, independent software vendors. There was no SaaS, right? It was like independent software. And I started working this space in 1999. The hardest thing when you're starting is you got to get people to care, right? And if you're everything, like people be like, well, you can't be everything, but you could
Yeah,
eventually be everything, right?
exactly.
I watched the Facebook again this weekend. And remember, the Facebook started in colleges. Like it literally started in colleges and went on from there. Now it's ubiquitous everywhere. But yeah, I love that sort of thing. So the market for Georgia again is small businesses, right? Totally get it. Finance, healthcare, those areas. I'm super curious. I'm like, how are you pricing this? We don't have to get into all these questions, but I'm super curious of the guts of this and where you are.
Mhm.
But in terms of your product, let's dive one level deeper into the differentiation, right? So, what's the differentiation of what your platform's doing? I have expert insight in my head, right? It sounds like you're creating this amazing workflow for me to make this easy, right? Like, so let's dive
Yeah.
one level deeper into the tech, what it's.
Yeah. For sure. So I would say the two main things we're solving for is improved collaboration when it comes to content creation, and also on the automation side, which
Hmm,
feeds into the collaboration component. So when you, and I'm talking about this from the perspective of when we have the actual technology ready. So we've built MVP 1, MVP 2 is really what I'm speaking about
hmm,
here. But when you sign up to WordBrew, you will plug in your brand data. So, style guidelines, marketing collateral, even your best performing content pieces. And again, this could be internal collateral, shareholder letters, briefs, proposals, government contracts, anything like that, all the way over to marketing communications. So your case studies, your white papers,
hmm.
any kind of content like that. So we're really trying to solve for all of these use cases. So you're
Nice.
prompting your brand data, you'll add that layer on top of the language model to make sure that all of those outputs are customized to your specific voice, everything that, you know exactly what I'm speaking about. So it's, that layer of customization.
Yeah, I love it. And that's what I was going to ask you. So it's you're at MVP one, MVP two. So have you
Mhm.
launched at on a greater level, or are you just you kind of bringing in beta customers? You're like people
Yeah.
are testing it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, MVP one is a beta testing project for us, which we're going to conduct with our existing customers. And then once that testing is complete, we're going to go ahead with MVP two, version two of WordBrew, which is what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be great for our internal team as well, because we're doing all of this manually. We're collaborating with our customers, getting them on calls, sending them surveys, extracting their insights, really digging deep into their unique point of views. What are the hills they're willing to die on? How can we translate that into the content we're creating to make sure it's truly unique and differentiated? Which,
Yeah.
of course, is a byproduct of AI at the moment. Is people aren't using it in the correct way, and it's resulting in a lot of generic lookalike content that's coming out
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah. One of the things I'm seeing, Georgia, in a big way, just to let you know, I've had a few podcasts where digital agencies are creating their own products, which
Yeah.
again, which is another market for you. Like,
Mhm.
to you could sell direct, right? Or you could sell to the agencies that are doing a lot of this stuff, right? I mean, you could probably eventually do both, right? But that's just
Mhm.
one of the things I'm thinking in my head is I actually have some referrals for you because there's a ton of digital agencies, like actually 3 podcasts I've done where, yeah, I was a digital agency for 2 or 3 years and I decided to build this product. One guy built like a website builder with AI but it's, yeah, it's,
Nice.
it's amazing. But
Yeah.
let's get into challenges, right? So you're 3.5 years, it says in LinkedIn with WordBrew and you're at MVP one, two, right? Tell the audience what are some of the challenges, right? So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced, or maybe you have challenges now, right? That you face,
Yeah.
and how are you overcoming them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hmm, I I would say that growing too quickly and experiencing the hardships of those growing pains has been
Mm,
the most challenging thing, but something I'm getting better at every day.
right,
But as a founder, you must have that drive and willingness to pick up the pieces when all these fires happen, right? When,
right,
when people leave, you need to have that readiness to, you need to be prepared to be on the front line, right? And deal with those challenges that come your way. So
sure,
continue going when everything gets rough, when all of these fires come to
love it,
fruition.
love it.
But I feel quite lucky that I'm somebody who's always had a lot of grit, and I'm an optimist through and through. Even if something bad happens, I might wallow in sorrow for an hour or two, and then I flip the switch, I'm over it, and I'm on to the solution. So, agility, grit, and knowing that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, I think is something you need to be prepared with as a founder.
Yeah. So what's amazing when I'm listening to Georgia speak with this great accent, right? And then I'm knowing she has a Philly grit. She's got Philly grit, right? So what do they say about Philly? They've got grit. Those Philly people, they've got grit. So no, that's really cool. That's really cool. Grit is so important, right? I literally the last year and a half has been a battleground. I mean, it's literally first I'm serving SaaS and tech startups. So you can only imagine what it's like, right? I mean, it's like a battle. So let's get into it here about just talent, right? So I'm actually sensing that there have been issues. You grew too fast, right? There are issues. So talent. So how do you look at talent, right? Talent acquisition, people, right?
Mhm.
So how have you looked at that over the course of the last few years? Where have been your challenges, solutions, things
Mm.
like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think firstly, hiring is a full-time job. It's really one of the biggest tasks I think a founder will undertake as they're growing their company, because you are growing so quickly most of the time that you're constantly finding yourself having to bring on new people and fill in these missing gaps. But then all of a sudden you have too many people doing too many things and you need to rehire because you want to better organize and distribute the roles and responsibilities with
Yeah,
maybe more full-time employees instead of contractors, and there's so many moving pieces. But WordBrew actually gets a lot of direct applications, especially from a writer and editor perspective, which
totally get that.
is the critical component to running our business. We need more experts, we need more writers and editors. So it's really not been super challenging from that perspective. But equally, it's very time intensive when we do post a job listing. If we're hiring for a specific subject matter expert, maybe we're hiring for a finance expert. We'll post the job listing overnight. We've got 350 applications, which I have to go through. So
Right.
not quite at that stage in the business where I have somebody overseeing all of the HR, but something I desperately need. Although I would also say that one of my favorite parts of running a business is the people that you bring on, and speaking to people and training somebody new and seeing what they can contribute. It's so exciting for me. And another thing we like to do at WordBrew is promoting from within. So
Nice.
actually, one of our greatest writers at the time, she doesn't write so much anymore. Her name is Leah. She joined WordBrew at the start of 2023 as a writer. And soon enough, we realized that she had a lot more potential. She wanted to get her hands dirty and join in more of a consistent capacity outside of freelance writing. And now she leads our entire project management team. So that's been a really nice story, and promoting from within.
No, that's amazing. But no, it's been such a great show. So last question here.
Sure.
I love this question because it's advice, right? Everybody loves good advice, right? So you're you've been a founder, you're an angel investor, right? So you're doing all these things. What are the two or three biggest pieces of advice that you would give other people, maybe in your capacity or thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or getting involved in a SaaS company? What are those two or three biggest pieces of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, for sure. I have two. So the first is, this is a piece of advice I was recently given that I absolutely love. So accepting that as a founder and as within your organization, you will constantly have to reinvent yourself,
Mm,
and that's okay.
hmm.
I've been so frustrated in the past where, I've created our brand identity, I've created our values, I've built the website, even the brand name, which we've changed twice, which there are
Right.
no more brand names coming. I will say that confidently. Brand name changes coming. Um, but, working on all of that and then having to change it a few months later because you've grown so quickly and things have evolved, the market has changed. Accepting that that is okay, you will have to constantly reinvent yourself,
Hmm.
is something that
Love that.
accepting has really given me a lot of peace. So that's number one. Number two is having the curiosity to learn and grow. Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't even be able to have shared that piece of advice just now, because I learned that from an awesome entrepreneur. His name is Gilbert Gonzalez. He's a founder and CEO at Mission Critical Solutions in Tampa. I overheard him saying this at a talk that I went to because I had the curiosity to learn and grow and improve my skill set as an entrepreneur. So don't be closed-minded, be willing to learn and grow, and know that there's always a better way.
So awesome, Georgia. So it was amazing having you on the show. This has been a great show. And I'm looking forward to following your journey and seeing where you go with this. It sounds really amazing.
Thank you. So great to be here. Maybe we'll have to have a catch-up session at some point.
Definitely. So talk to you soon.